All empathic people are born with special gifts. Some call them nowadays superpowers. But a lot of them are very covered up because of the different struggles that empathic people tend to experience in their life. With your oversensitivity, with your anxiety, some of you, with getting entangled with other people's mood and energy. It's very distracting, and it can often cause us to overlook some of these amazing, some of the gifts, genuine gifts we were born with. And the intention of this video is to help you become aware of these gifts so that you can start enjoying them and benefiting from them, and also sharing them with other people. Because a lot of the gifts that you possess are going to be not only helpful and beneficial for yourself, but also for other people. And the seventh one, I'm especially excited to share because there's other videos like this. I've never once heard anyone discuss this one point, and yet it's super important and very relevant to the times we're living in. Number one, all empathic people have the ability to cause other people to feel seen and heard. What I mean by that is, and you probably know this from your own experience, you're a really good listener. You probably notice that when people, maybe even strangers, talk to you, they tend to overshare. They tend to share a lot of themselves. Now, why is that? Well, it's because they feel very comfortable around you. Because most people, when they're communicating with somebody else, they're thinking about themselves. But an empath has this natural ability just to be very open and present with people. And it's so refreshing. It causes people to feel safe with you and comfortable with you. And finally, someone's actually listening to me. And you could just literally sit there listening to a stranger for 2 minutes at the park bench, and you could literally change their life just by being who you are. Number two, the ability to tell when someone's lying. You might not always know why someone's lying, but you have this radar for detecting when someone's words aren't matching what's actually going on the inside. You can somehow pick up on the dissonance. You can just tell when something's off. This is very valuable for a lot of reasons. You go and you buy a car, for example, or just going about in your relationships. It can be sometimes, unfortunately, disappointing when you see how often people are lying and being self-serving. Nonetheless, it's valuable information that you come about without even trying, very naturally. Number three, you are very intuitive. And this intuition can help you in big ways, like navigating the direction of your life. You have an intuition about when it's time to move on from something, when there's an opportunity, whether it really resonates with you or not. You can just kind of feel naturally, and you know. So you can make a lot of wise choices that a lot of people would miss because they get into their head and they overanalyze and they miss the obvious. You're so connected to your intuition that making big life choices based solely off your intuition is just something you've probably always done. It's just something that's very easy for you. Now, your friends and family might scratch their heads sometimes because they think sometimes the things you do are a little bit unpredictable, but you are flowing with a very different and I would say higher set of wisdom and guidance when it comes to going through your life. Number four, empathic people are very emotionally intelligent. Because your emotions are so present with you, you can't really stuff them down and ignore them like most people. So they're always there, so you've had no choice but to learn how to manage them, learn how to sit with them and heal some of them and express some of them in a constructive way. Now, we're not perfect at this, obviously, but so many people these days are so busy. They are so in their heads. They're so overindulged in dopamine-seeking behaviors that they're completely detached from their emotional body. And then we know what happens when you go through life like that. You make a lot of unconscious mistakes. You live your life completely unconsciously because you're so disconnected from what's really going on. Well, you would argue, well, I have too much going on in my emotional body, and yeah, I get it. I know it comes with its suitcase full of challenges, and it also makes you very emotionally intelligent. And emotionally intelligent people are proven to be very successful, at least they have the potential to be, because they're not going to be sabotaging themselves based on these unresolved emotions. You probably already know this, but empaths are also very talented when it comes to anything involving creativity. Now, why is that? Is it that you have greater skill? It's not about skill, creativity. It's about being sensitive to the creative forces that are all around us. Most great artists, and I've actually done a lot of research and I'm just interested in this topic, so I've read a lot about very successful and impactful and creative people, and they all kind of say the same thing in different ways. And what they say is that it's not them. It's just a creative energy, or it's their spirit, or it's God. Some of them call it God, but there's this mysterious, intelligent force that you are able to kind of perceive and allow to kind of work with you to create stuff. Whether you're a painter or a writer or a speaker or whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating is coming from a higher place. It's not coming just from your mind and your limited experience in life. It's coming from something that none of us truly understand, but empathic people can feel it when it's present. You can feel when you do something that's genuinely inspired. And that always has that special it factor, that special quality is always present, because it's almost if the whole is creating something for itself to benefit itself through you. Number 6, and maybe you've never heard a name put to it, but all empathic people, again, by definition, if you're an empath, you're also clairsentient. You may have heard of clairsentience. It's one of the 4 clairs. There's clairvoyant. This is like the seer, the visionary, the people that can see stuff in their mind's eye and they have dreams and visions. There's clairaudient, people who hear voices from within, spirits, etc. Some psychic mediums are clairaudient. They can actually hear stuff that nobody else hears, but it really is there, and it can sometimes be very beneficial when you can hear it. There's claircognizant, which you also are. That's where you just know what to do, what's the good move for you, without knowing why, without having gathered a bunch of information and sort of concluded that this would be wise. You just skip all that. You just know. But clairsentience is what I was going back to. That's where you can feel and decipher and understand and kind of gain information, like genuine helpful life information from your perception of the energy. You can walk into a room, can you not? You can walk into a room and you know if you're going to be are you going to be happy there? What's the general tone? You don't see the tone. It's not that you're gathering stuff, you're not hearing, you can feel the tone of whatever's going on in your life, especially with people. You can really feel other people's emotions. You can feel what's going on. That's why you know when they're lying or not, because you can feel where they're actually at, regardless of what their mouth is saying. A lot of people have become very good at, again, they're just so disconnected. They don't even know they're lying, some of them. But anyway, you can just pick up on all that. You're clairsentient. And it can be, yes, it's overstimulating a lot of the time. You go into busy places, or if you find yourself where you're around a lot of negative people who are stressed out or arguing or something, it's like a physical onslaught you kind of take on into your energy body until you learn to manage that. And it is possible. I didn't think it was for a long time, but it is. But the main thing is, yes, I understand that happens and it can be a challenge and annoying and inconvenient sometimes, but it also allows you, again, to make really wise choices when it comes to the people you're going to let into your life and your friendship circle, when it comes to the people you're going to work with and spend time with, when it comes to buying a house. In fact, when I was house shopping, every time I've done this, I would always have a very irritated real estate agent, because she would be, excited to show me a house, and I would sometimes just, as I would enter the neighborhood, I would sometimes just know it's a hard no. So we kind of pull up to a house. I could just feel this is not compatible with the Victor Oddo energy signature. And regardless of the features or how many square feet or whatever and how good of a deal, completely irrelevant. It's not going to work because there's an energetic dissonance that I can feel even outside of the house. So the agent would always get annoyed because she'd be like, you haven't even seen it, kind of thing. But anyway, I bet you can relate to that in your own life. And you know what? Ironically, going back to that little story I was sharing, we found a house. It was the house that we thought out of the different list of houses we were going to see. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here. It was the one based on the pictures we never would have in a million years thought we were going to get, but it had the right vibe. And it's the one we chose, and we were happy there, for a few years until we decided to move. But the point is, you're clairsentient. Remember that, know that, use it to your advantage. It can help you a lot in life. Number 7, here's the one. A lot of these you probably have known, you're already aware of, even if you haven't heard anyone talk about it, or you've also heard other YouTubers or books or something referencing this. This number 7, I can predict you're not going to see coming. And I'm going to delay saying it to hold the anticipation as long as I possibly can. No, just kidding. I'll tell you right now, soon. It's coming soon. Just kidding. Sorry. I take jokes too far once in a while. You'll learn that about me. Number 7, all empathic people make excellent and successful entrepreneurs. Really? Yes. Why? Because successful businesses in this day and age come from people who are creating them from inspiration, from a sense of purpose, from actual passion, energy. And a lot of empathic people find they don't like their job. The mood's off, their clairsentience, is getting pinged left and right by all the noise, the energetic noise in their work environment. And they're like, man, what gives? This is no fun. Well, maybe you came here to do something else. Maybe you came here to do something new. Maybe you're a pioneer in something. I'm a coach. I'm also one of my things I do besides YouTube is coach spiritual entrepreneurs. And I can tell you a lot of them are very successful because, again, they're connected to something greater than themselves. And what comes to mind as an example is a guy named Michael Singer. You may have heard of Michael Singer. He wrote the book, The Untethered Soul, the very popular spiritual book. He's got this other book, which I like arguably even more. It's called The Surrender Experiment. It's kind of an autobiography, honestly, about his life. And for the first third or so of his life, first 10, 20, 30 years, he was pursuing enlightenment very heavily. He was very dedicated, more than most I know. He sacrificed all his material belongings, and he lived an extremely simple lifestyle in a tent and just meditated all day and ate nothing but boring rice and beans and things like that. And as he was doing so, he was having a lot of powerful experiences coming up in his life. But after a while, he discovered that he had taken this approach to enlightenment as far as he possibly can. And he had this strong sense and knowing that he was to go back out into the real world and start kind of a normal life. And he was reluctant because he was so sensitive and he was so kind of used to living a certain simple way, devoid of a lot of the human challenges. But anyway, he just had this strong intuition to do it. And he went on to create not $1 million, but a multi-billion-dollar company. He was reluctant to do it. He had no interest in it, but there was a calling inside of him that said, you need to go and pursue this thing that you don't know what it is yet, but you just got to walk this different path. There's something there for you. And through the act of surrender, just literally surrendering to the divine will, if you want to call it that, he sort of tiptoed his way and was guided to creating this billion-dollar company because it was something that wanted to come through. And he had made himself so sensitive to perceive this billion-dollar idea. And a lot of you are the same thing. That's why you don't like it. A lot of you don't like your job. You don't like your circumstance. Well, it's because you came here probably to do something else. And that same sensitivity that allowed Michael Singer to do that, you have. You have it in spades. That's why you're watching a video like this. And the more you start to listen to that inner voice, that inner intuition, and to make the changes you might feel called to make, you might be surprised at what eventually manifests itself through you. Number 8, I kind of alluded to this, and this is also why I say with such so strongly, number 7, is you have an innate ability to uncover your Dharma. which is to say, finding your life duty, finding your life purpose. Everybody has one. And most people are oblivious to it, unfortunately. They have just been kind of spun around in the system of school and college and the collective cultural conditioning, and there's like certain things that are glamorized and seen to be good, like going to school, getting a good job, this kind of thing. So most people just blindly follow this path, disconnecting themselves more and more and more, further and further away from their truth, from their essence. And that's why a lot of people are very unhappy. But because you're an empath, you can't escape your truth, your essence. It's right there in your face each and every day. And when you come to understand a lot of the contrast you experience in your life, it's just information helping you align yourself more and more and more with a circumstance in your life that is actually reflective of that truth. A lot of empathic people are very depressed and very anxious and don't even know why the hell they're here on earth right now, honestly. And it's because they've also been kind of looped into this system that is not right for them. And the more you can just take all that negative energy that might be in your life now and see it as information to the fact that, you know, there's probably something better for you, you can very easily, not easily, honestly, but you can uncover your life purpose. And you can start letting go of certain things that no longer serve you and no longer resonate, and exchange, come to more and more contact with this essence of you and your role and your gifts and what you came to share in the world. And you have a good chance of accessing that. And then even better, like using it, going forth from that vantage point of someone who really knows themselves and creating just an amazing life for yourself because of all that awareness that you naturally have. Number 9, empaths are also, they make excellent, whether you want to do this or not, you don't have to, but they make phenomenal coaches and healers. A lot of times, in fact, it's funny, I've been on an Eckhart Tolle kick, as I've been saying in my videos. I don't know if you know, Eckhart Tolle is a very popular contemporary spiritual teacher who's allegedly, and I believe it, achieved enlightenment. And after his enlightenment experience, he had a few years of just kind of like, not knowing what happened to him, but knowing he's different. But after a while, he just sort of aligned himself with people who would come up and ask him questions, and he found himself in this like teacher role, you could say, very naturally. And he said one time he was sitting with somebody, just listening to them, and then this person was an empathic person, I believe, he was saying, and then she was like, oh, I can feel your energy. You're a healer. And he was like, okay, I didn't know that. You know, so he went for a little while, inviting people to come and talk to him, and he would just listen. And he wouldn't do anything. He'd just sit there, basically. And in his powerful presence, though, it would have a healing effect on some people, he said. But anyway, the point is, you have that type of gift. You have that type of presence, that mindfulness, that energy. And a lot of you are probably a really good healer and don't even know it. You may be, just looking back at your life, you may have already found you've been helping people, and that's why people are attracted to you. That's why people come up to you and they want to pick your brain and share with you what's going on. It's not because you always have something profound to say. You might find yourself, like me, I'm kind of an introvert, kind of quiet, but people just feel uplifted being around you. So when you really learn to embrace that more and work with it and practice it, you can become a very good healer and also a coach for the same reason, because you're a good listener, because you're emotionally intelligent, because you can really hear someone talking and have an intuitive knowing of this is the actual problem. Underneath all that story, this is what they need to hear, this is what they need to do. And you can really help be an amazing guide, if not even a coach, just because you're so tapped into the truth of the circumstance and what's going on with people. And number 10, this is such a beautiful one too. You have this ability to always do the right thing, even when it's difficult. Because you will feel bad if you don't, because you have a very loud conscience. And you know better. And you really can't lie to yourself the way other people can. So it just like makes logical sense to you. In spite of sometimes when you know it's gonna like backfire on you, you just know it's still best, still wisest for you and everybody just to do the right thing. And why is that so important? Well, because, man, if you look throughout history, it's filled with leaders who got to the top, stepping on other people's backs by not doing the right thing. And these are the folks that are kind of in control right now. And I think what's happening now is there are so many people on the planet waking up spiritually, and a lot of empathic people on the planet right now doing the right thing. And I think we're here to show people it can work both ways. You can do the right thing and get the gold at the end of the rainbow. You can be a good person. You don't have to sacrifice your integrity or what you know in your heart is right in order to have a good life and be successful and to be abundant and to leave an impact. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, what I do at the end of all of them is offer a free guided meditation that I made myself. I made it a few years ago. It will help you connect with your higher self. Take that for what it's worth. It's really cool. I've taken thousands of people through it. It's completely free. You can check it out down below if you'd like. And with that said, I wish you an amazing day, my friends. Much love to you all. Peace.